Hey everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. In our last episode, making an EVA foam Megaman Sword Part 1, you saw us get almost the whole thing built. Alright, we got everything built all the way down to the bottom of the cuffs and the metal supports were sticking out. So in this episode, making an EVA foam Megaman Sword Part 2, we're going to shape this whole bottom piece, attach it, so the build will be complete, and we're going to seal it and paint it. Pretty easy paint job, as you can tell. Do a lot of masking off and spraying and some brush work. Easy stuff. Simple. Alright, if you're ready to hit it, let's make something. Okay, now, ooh boy, look at these things, man. These are giant. We're going to go over to the bandsaw. We're going to cut these outer circles out, and then we're going to poke a hole through here, and we're going to feed the blade through on the scroll saw and cut the inside out. But then we're going to have to shape the outside of this a little bit. So let's go cut these out first on the bandsaw. All right, there we go. Wow, man, that is so cool. All right, now we're going to poke a hole through the middle so we can feed our scroll saw blade through and cut the inside out. All right, we're going to take this Forstner bit, go over to the drill press, and poke our hole out. All right, there we go. We poked our hole through it. Now we can feed the blade through there on the scroll saw and cut the middle out. All right, there we go. Check it out. All right, what we're gonna do now though is this is crazy time right here. All right, we're gonna need to cut a bevel around these things from this line all the way down to this line. It's gonna be a really steep angle. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to cut most of it with our box cutter. All right. All right, we're just going to keep going. All right, there we go. We just knocked off a big chunk of our cut with the knife. All right, let's do it on this one also. All right, there we go. That is pretty hacked up. All right, check that out, man. Woo! We cut most of it off with the knife, so it looked like this. And then we came in and we got it as clean as we could get it with a Dremel. So we're going to take this piece right here and we're going to do the same thing we just did. All right, there we go. Look at that, man. That is a lot of shaping right there. Holy cow. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. Well, look at that, man. That's crazy. Okay, it doesn't... All right, there we go. Look at that. Looks like one piece. That is pretty darn cool. Now let's see if we can get our 80 grit sandpaper in here and clean it up. Pretty clean. That is not too terrible. All right. We'll go over it with our 320 and our 220 and we'll get it even smoother. That was some elbow grease there. We went through the 80 and the 220. That was really hard to sculpt all that, but it didn't turn out too bad. Cool. Hand's gonna go right in there, grab the grip. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we marked our 2 supports, 1 and 2, and we centered it, eyeballed it, and centered it over it and pushed in just so we can get the mark where both of those supports are going to go. And then we're gonna come in with a drill bit and we're gonna make a pilot hole a little bit smaller than the dowel, so the dowel goes in there tight. All right, so we're gonna come in. Feed that in. There we go. Now, let's see. This is going to come up and attach there. This is going to, ooh, that's not good. This side we have to lower this spot right here. Ooh, we're getting close. All right, that is pretty darn tight right there. I think we can probably live with that. So we roughly know where we're going to be cementing. We're going to get our supports in place. We're going to push up to here. We want to get and the hand goes in, grabs the handle. Look at that. That's sweet. All right, now we got a tiny little gap right in here, which we could not get perfect. There was no way, because we had to hand angle this piece. So we got a little gap here, a tiny one here, and a little one here, and almost none there. So what we'll do is when all this dries and sets up, and before we seal it, we'll come in there with some quick seal and we'll fill it in so you don't even see that gap there. But look at that, man. That thing is shaped up and tight. Wow. All right, now we've got our last little pieces on here, okay? We've got 2 of these 48mm pieces. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna knock out these top cuts on the scroll saw. All right, there we go. We cut those on the bandsaw, actually. Okay, now we're going to take this little piece of our template. Okay, we did our top cuts. Now we're going to shape these, all right? And that is the shape we want to make, all right? So we're gonna be doing another ton of dremeling, all right? All right, now that's the cut that we wanna make. But this is too high to send through the bandsaw, so we're going to come in and do what we've done before. And we're going to take our box cutter very carefully. Be very careful because we're near our hand, but now we're going away from our hand, so we're okay. Some of our corner. All right, we're starting to get a shape going here. All right, it's gonna taper down like this, and it's gonna be round at the back, and it's gonna curve down here. So you know what time it is. Boom. Gloves, dust mask, grind. All right, there we go. Check that out. We got the curved back. We've got the tapered side. We've got the little cone shape. That's pretty darn sweet, man. Wow. Get our smooth bit in here. Nice. All right, let's seal it. Wow. All right, now, here we go again. We're gonna take this big chunky thing here and we're gonna turn it into this. All right, there we go. Look at those. Those are beautiful. All right, now what we're gonna do is these are gonna come in and they're gonna attach right there. Look at that. That is. Right, here's one, and all right, we got good contact all the way around the whole piece, at the base, around the sides. Nice. All right, let's do this side. There it is. Look at that, man. That thing is crazy awesome. Wow. Really, really cool. All right. Man, that is sweet. All right, with that last detail put shaping and attaching these little bullet tip looking things, not sure what they are, that brings the build portion of Megaman Sword to a close. All right, now we're going to come in with our quick seal and we're going to fill a couple of these little gaps, and this is really super easy. You just get a little bit on a little knife, any kind of little spatula you have, just like that. Perfect, look at that, filled in there, nice. That gap is totally full. And you can... Perfect, wow, is that nice. Filled. Perfect. There we go. That's it. That easy. Now, quick seal, and we just filled it in. Now we'll just let those dry, and when those dry, we will begin sealing it and painting it. Okay, here we are at the spray stand. We're going to begin coating our Megaman Sword with our Plastidip. And you know what we say, even outside in a well-ventilated area, do not spray without your respirator. All right, there we go. We coated it with several coats of Plastidip. Looking pretty good. Now here's where you can kind of see it, all right? We thought it would cover it, but we thought this was super smooth when we were done doing it because it looked pretty smooth, both of these pieces. But as you can tell, you can totally see all the grooves and everything from the Dremel and the imperfections. But All right, there we go. Now what we did is we took some time and we put some real thick layers of Plastidip on this piece and on this piece, and we let it dry and then sprayed it on real thick again and let it dry, and we did like several coats. So we were able to smooth it out a little bit. We covered a lot of the gouges. Now down here at the bottom, this is an example where we sure would have benefited by having a belt sander, because if we had a belt sander, we could have really smoothed this thing out. But we did all of it by Dremel and with sanding sticks, so it's still pretty good. And what we just did is the same thing. We covered this with several thick coats of Plastidip, and we filled in a lot of the little crevice marks and stuff, so it's a lot cleaner than before, but it's still not perfect, but not terrible. All right, there we go. Now we're ready to start painting. Okay, we're out at the spray stand. We're going to begin coating Megaman Sword with our Ocean Mist spray paint. And you know what we always say, even if you're outside in a well-ventilated area, do not spray without your respirator. All right, there we go. Nice. Got several coats on there. We let it dry. Now we're gonna come in and we're gonna mask off this blade so we can spray the whole body. All right, so we've got our painter's tape. Now this is gonna take a little bit of time. Masking usually does. We're gonna just cut some thin strips. All right, there we go. We've got both bottom pieces of our blade masked off. Now we're going to come in with some cling wrap and we're going to cover the blade. All right, there we go. That easy. Covered it with tape and some cling wrap. Now we're good to go. Okay, there we go. We just coated it with our wildflower blue. And now we're going to carefully come in here and start taking everything off. Beautiful. Look at that. Wow. That is really nice. Okay, that's exactly what we wanted. Now we'll come in later after this dries and we'll paint this center section and this piece right here. All right, let's set it off to the side so it dries all the way through. Okay, now we're going to come in with our royal navy blue. All right, now what we did was we put just a loose little tape frame around here. We're going to come in with our sponge brush. All right, there it is. We're just going to tap it just to smooth it out a little bit. That's it. All right, there we go. Sweet. Okay, now we're coming in with our midnight blue. All right, there we go. Look at that. Look at the difference. There it is with one coat on it. It's kind of blotchy. And there it is with two coats on it. Nice. All right, just take your time. All right, there we go. Check it out. Looking good. Now this is always gonna bother me that this is a little bit rough, but we used all hand tools for it because it was just too big and we didn't have a belt sander. We used a Dremel and sanding stick. So that's an awful lot of shaping to try to be computer perfect on the look. So if we would have had a belt sander, we could have pulled it off really smooth, but not bad. And that's pretty good for a bunch of hand work. All right, there we go. You saw how easy that was. We sprayed our blade with our ocean mist. Then when that dried, we masked off the blade and put some cling wrap around it. And we came in and painted our wildflower blue. Then we came in with our other two blues and just painted those by hand and did several coats there. But looking good, man. We can reach in, grab our handle, and we've got our Megaman Sword to create some mayhem. Look at that thing, man. That is really tight. Loving it. All right, so with that last detail, getting the multiple coats on that little bullet tip dealy there, that brings our Megaman Sword build to a close. All right, there you go. You saw it, man. Tons of shaping to get this bottom piece. And it would have been a lot better if we had a belt sander, because this is a pretty huge surface right here. It would have been nice to use a belt sander to really get this thing smooth. So we had to hand do this whole thing, which is a lot of area. And we tried to be as clean as possible with the Dremel and the sanding sticks, and it was pretty good. Not the best, but it wasn't the worst. We say that a lot around here. Not the best, but not the worst. But as you can tell, we took our time, did a lot of coats of Plastidip, and we hit a lot of the imperfections on here. And then we sprayed it. Sprayed it kind of heavy too, just to get a little bit of extra layer of paint over it also. So between many coats of Plastidip and a couple good heavy coats of paint, it's not terrible. You could still mess somebody up with this thing though. So it doesn't matter if it's kind of bumpy here, it'll still jam if you're playing with it. So that's it. You saw it. Pretty easy stuff. That concludes making an EVA foam Megaman Sword Part 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.